Hey guys, it's Lisa from TRW, and in this video I am going to be customizing this little laundry tote bag. You may recognize this from my Target Dollar Spot haul. This is from the back to school section. I think it's great for students who are in college going back to school, or realistically this bag is for me. I have it saying be careful, I'm delicate, kind of a play on words because one, I bruise really easily, so I like to say that I'm delicate, but also I want to make sure I separate clothes that need to go in the delicate cycle, so I have this cute bag that I will be using for it. Now, I am going to be using StripFlock Pro for this. This is the pink one. I love this because it's a hot or cold peel. You guys know I don't like waiting for a cold peel. And you can layer on top of it. So obviously I didn't layer on top of it, but a fun bag that we're going to make in this video. So I'm over here in Silhouette Studio. Now this bag is going to be very simple because I think sometimes we forget the value in just simplicity, little things, just subtle things. So what I really want for this bag is for it to get my message through, but also just to look cute. So I typed be careful, I'm delicate, which is kind of a joke that I have with my husband all the time because I bruise really easily, so I like to say that I'm delicate. So I thought that this would be a cute little spin on that for my laundry bag that I'm going to put my nicer like work clothes, delicate clothes in, just to kind of emphasize be careful with my things. So I just typed in two text boxes, be careful, I'm delicate. I am using the font, it's called Ballet Script. I bought it a while back. I think I bought it from like the Hungry JPEG a long time ago, but I think it's really cute. It can be tricky when you cut in vinyl, so I save it for big projects like this so I don't ruin my vinyl or anything like that. So I have them typed out, and I'm going to go ahead, grab this, and I'm going to weld it. So this gets rid of my overlapping lines, and then right away while everything is selected, you can tell it's selected because it has a brown box around it. I'm going to hover over it, right click, and make compound path. So now this is combined into one big object. I don't have to worry about it, and I'm going to repeat the process for this bottom one down here. Now don't forget, if you are new to vinyl, we always want to weld our script fonts because that is how we get rid of those overlapping lines. Maybe at some point in time you've accidentally gotten those little weird notches in your vinyl. That is because it wasn't welded, so it was cutting the line to the letter before into the letter after. So I have both of these selected. This is at 10 inches wide. I'm just going to take my mouse and stretch out a little bit more. I want it to be around 11 inches wide. I want it to kind of take up the whole space of my vinyl. So I'm going to set this up right here. I am going to draw a box around it. This is what's being called my weeding box. Now this is not required, but it does make it a lot easier to weed when you're done. So I'm just going to bring this over, set that up, and now the last thing I need to do is I need to select my design, right click, and I need to flip horizontally. Because I'm cutting heat transfer vinyl, I need to flip it because we are going to be cutting on the back side and then it's going to apply on the other side. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to set this up. I'm going to turn on my machine so you can see my cut panel. So we're going to go over to my send panel. And so I'm going to be cutting this on the new Siser flock material. And let me look at this real quick because I have this weird line in here. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, I'm back. So I went over it and I just checked. Sometimes it looks fuzzy, but you can see I super zoomed in on my font. And you can see I do have a straight line across there, so it's going to cut totally fine. So we're going to go ahead and set that up, and I'm going to view this whole thing. So I am cutting this on StripFlock. So we're going to go over and I'm going to put my preset for StripFlock down here. Now again, I can link below. I have a video on how to program your own custom cut settings. I have programmed all of my own to make it easier to cut. Now, when you're doing this, you want to make sure you're still doing test cuts because many things can change. But I'm going to set it up like that. I'm going to put my StripFlock on a cutting mat. I found that StripFlock for me cuts better on a mat. So I'm going to put that on the mat, cut it, and then we will weed it and be ready to press. All right, so I have my machine. I'm going to put my cutting mat over there. So I'm lining it up with this line here, and then I'm also lining it with this over here. You want to make sure this roller is all the way on the edge. If it's not, you can lift up your bar and adjust it over there. So I'm all set. We're going to load. Now my software was set to have a cutting mat, and that is what I'm using. So we're going to go ahead and send. All right, so my cut is done. I'm gonna find this corner of my weed box and start pulling. And my vinyl is coming up with no resistance, so that's a really good sign. That means my cut settings are done pretty well. I have a couple corners that are giving me a little bit of trouble, but that is not unusual for vinyl, and especially a vinyl as thick as this StripFlock. When you have a thick StripFlock like this, and especially one that's a cold peel, I mean, the new StripFlock is it's not necessarily, but I still treat it like one. The carrier sheet for something this thick and fuzzy is going to be a little bit tackier to make sure that it stays intact. So you want to just be careful with it. So you can see I kind of like ripped a little section up, but I just flipped it back down and I kept going. So we're going to fix that. I'm going to go ahead and take this middle section out so it doesn't keep getting snagged. So you can see these little edges here like to come up, but no big deal. So we have all of our middle pieces weeded out. Now be really careful. Make sure you take off this box here. I know some people get so caught up on what they weed on the inside that they forget to take off this box. Now this is still vinyl, so if you don't take it off, it will press onto your item. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go over to my heat press, get it warmed up, and then we're ready to press this. All right, so here is my bag. Now this bag is really big and I'm using a pink press. Mainly because I'm kind of limited on room and, you know, I like doing stuff with my pink press. So what I did is I folded my bag underneath itself over here, and because of this material, it's almost like using a pressing pillow. And then this side I'm going to lift up while I do it. So I have this taped down just because I don't want it to shift because I lined this up somewhere else and I'm bringing it over here. So I have this set up right here, and my heat press is going to be set to 310 degrees, maybe 310, 315. And this is a hot or cold peel. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my cover sheet, and I'm not doing a full press yet. I'm going to be doing my pre-presses to check my pressure. My pressure is going to be way too high right now because my material is really lifted. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this counterclockwise to decrease the pressure. And I'm going to see how I can close it. So just now, didn't even close it all. So we're just going to keep working at that. And so my press isn't entirely at temperature yet. So this is a great way to kind of test this while I'm waiting for it to come to temperature. So this is really high up. So I'm like really loosening the pressure. Okay, so it kind of closed there. I'm going to increase my pressure a little bit more because I probably could do it. And so people always ask me, how do I know what pressure to do? I wish I had a more scientific way, but really I just say you want your press to fight you closing, but you still want to be able to close it. So we're going to go over my heat press is up to temperature. So I'm going to go ahead, close this, and I'm going to do 15 seconds. So when the timer goes off. All right. So let's go ahead, lift this up. So now that we have the StripFlock Pro, I can go ahead and do a hot or cold peel, which is awesome because I don't like waiting. You can see how that came up a little bit. So I'm just going to bring this back down. This is a spot where I think the handle is. Yeah, the handle is on there, so it's not getting as much pressure underneath it. So I'm going to go over and grab a tiny pillow from my drawer. So I have this skinny pillow, and we're going to take it and I'm going to stick it right underneath this E so that I can get pressure up on that. So I have that right there. And let's go ahead, repeat the process. So again, this happens just because there wasn't a spot that had pressure. So that's why it's really important to check your pressure, have proper pressure with it. And then let's go ahead, lift it. So it looks pretty good there. So we're just going to resume peeling it back. Right there. Looks good. It came up. So, you know, that goes to say too, if your vinyl starts coming up when you're weeding it right away, it's not the end of the world, okay? Just kind of try it again. And I'm going to take my bag and separate it right away because right on the label it says don't iron it, but you guys know, like, I'm not really going to follow the rules if it means I can't make something cute. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna move back so you can see the whole bag. And that is my final bag, guys. Check that out. Isn't it really cute? So I like this because it's a cute, dainty font. I'm not overwhelming with this. I'm not like, hey, I have my custom bag over here. Like, it's just a cute font, and I think it'll get my message across. Could you say that this is a little bit passive-aggressive to say, be careful with my clothes? No, I would like to say it's direct. Be careful with my clothes. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you are not already subscribed below, make sure you subscribe to us on our channel so you don't miss anything. And let me know in the comments below, do you like little messages like this? What do you think of the material? Have you used StripFlock Pro? Let me know. I want to hear all about it.